This is Irontrader, and this is the last call of the day. So we'll take a look here at the old crude oil, WTI, and Brent, and we'll take a look here at natural gas and gold, silver, and we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, and then we'll see what the indexes are doing here. Looks like the Dow is rallying up here over 400. Now remember, the API for crude oil will be up today at 430. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy. So let's talk about ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have crude oil. Now, this is WTI. We have a daily chart and a weekly chart here. We're going to expand her just a little bit here today, okay? So you can see here how when we lost this key 100 SMA here, that for me still told me to go short, okay? And that's exactly what I did. Now, what we got going on here is today we hit this low of 75.52 level, okay? So when we're looking right to the left of the chart here, you're looking at 74.97. That's going to be next. And then we're going to come right down here to the 73.48. Now, we got this 200-day right here sitting, let's see right there, at 75.03, okay? So that's going to be very, very close. That's going to be very just right above, again, this 200 SMA here. So we got to be very, very careful here that maybe you can hit this and then bounce as that all the way on up here. Now, if we lose this key, that level, and we lose this 200-day, then we'll be looking for this 50-day at 72.24. This possibly we can look for that 70.84. But what we also want to look at here is that keeps on selling here is this gap and fill right here, okay? So what you're looking at is 69.20, and then we have that fill at 67.83 kind of level here, okay? So just watch these key levels, that 72 level right here, that 73 level, and then we have that 100-day at that 70.84. And then if that is lost here, right there, that 69.20, that's going to be your target, okay? And there's your gap, and then there's your fill at 67.83. Now, a lot of times it'll come right down to the a gap, and then it'll bounce right back up and try to retest it. But once it starts going in, then we're going to go right down to that fill, and that could get pretty nasty. Now, again, we're not really oversold here yet. That's got a ways to go. We got a ways to go here, and this is just basically starting off here after that huge up over 80. That way overbought condition. But if you notice on crude oil with the Straits of Hormuz down, this is probably one of the most kind of like a brutal situation you could actually get into. Crude didn't really have that big of a rally. You're looking at 1948. So a lot of traders out there, these guys on Bloomberg and CNBC, they're calling for 150, 200, and 250, that kind of situation. But see, this is why you want to trade the charts. And it never really got there because I don't think a lot of the traders always believe that eventually you're going to get this solved. And you can see where you have a high, a lower high, a lower high, and lower high, and then she fell right off the map. And this was the big red flag for me. It was right here. Is when you went right into that 21-day and it stopped it cold, stopped it, and stopped it again. And then you can see how these are rolling over. We have the crossover 21-day, the crossover the 8-day. But for me, what got me because this was still good trading on the UCO for a long time. But what got me right here is once we lost that key 100-day, then for me, I went short with the SCO. And that's been a really good trade. So bottom line here, watch this key level right here next. That's going to be key. That's 75.03. It's going to be very critical. And then the 200-day at 73.48. And if it's lost, then we're going to go down to your 72 level. Then we come down to your 70.84. Then we have your gap in your fill. But let's just see what happens at these 200 days if it gets down to this one here on the daily, or if it just holds this one on the weekly. Because a lot of times what will happen, it'll come right down to that situation, and all the traders are watching the same thing I am, and you could get yourself a nice, good relief rally here as in any kind of situation, okay? So always remember that. Just trade the charts and be patient. That's the key. Okay, let's take a look here now at Brent Crude. Okay, now here we have Brent Crude. Now, what we're looking at here is we're looking at that daily chart at that 78.02. Okay, today's low here, what we got so far? 78.45, so we haven't hit that yet. But look at here what we did out here, okay? So right now, 79.43, okay? So actually, right now, the price is below this 200-day, and that could be very critical, okay? Next, again, it's going to hit that 78.02. Then if we lose it, we're going to come right down here to 76.49, and then we have your 100-day sitting at 74.63. Now, if that's all lost, then we're going to come down to this gap right here, okay? This is 79. We have that fill at 73.52 level, okay? So we got a lot of support going on right here. Right once we cross these key levels right here, once we lose that 78 level and we lose that 50 SMA here level, then we want to look to that gap, okay? And then see how that holds. If we lose it, then we can come down to that 100-day. then we can come right here to that fill at 73.52 level. But let's just see here, because just we touched this here on this 200-day. But again, remember, this is a weekly chart here. So by Friday, you got to get back above this key 79.43. Because if you don't, this is going to be going lower. Now, this here on a daily basis is at 78.02. You got to get that back. Now, again, if it can hold this, then we can maybe take a run right back up here again. Okay, so bottom line here, if you can take a run back up here, then we'll be looking for the bottom of that candle right there at that 81.16 level. Okay, and we'll look for today's high at 83.80. But realistically, what you're looking for is that 89.01. That's going to be your 8 simple moving average. That's going to be very, very critical. And then if we can get above that, well, obviously we have this 92.01 here. We have 92.40 level here if we get some kind of a bounce up. But right now, they're getting towards oversold. We're not there. We could go a long ways here yet, all the way on down. So Brent is looking really, really big time sell-off here versus the old WTI. So what I would worry about, not just really where I say, oh, I got these resistance levels here on the upside, that's really kind of meaningless. Right now, we have a downtrending situation. You can see you're just absolute waterfall right on down. The key is if you don't hold these key levels here, then we're going to be go lower. So really, once we lost that 100-day, that again, the short position is the trade here, okay? That's the key on this here. Now, this was a really, really good trade with BNO here. Really, really good trade with the old Brent. Now, I'm really a big Brent trader guy. I always traded the WTI, but this was really a good trader. But once again, we lost that 100-day like he did at WTI, then it's time to take a short. So again, watch this level right here by Friday, that's 79.43, to see if we can get back up here. If not, we're going to be right here at that 78.02 level. And then, hey, you got that 50 SMA at 76.49. And then we have that 100-day all the way down here at that 74.63. And always pay attention to that gap in that fill situation. Okay, let's take a look here now at natural gas. Okay, here we have natural gas. Now, natural gas here has been a really, really good trade today. Now, here's the thing is, okay, we had this downtrend situation. Then we broke that, and then we were going up here, upside situation. But you notice how that 200-day just pretty much stopped it cold, okay? Then what we did is we sold off here, held the 21-day. Sold off here, held the 21-day. Now, when we look at here, okay, we only had 1 day below that 21-day. Other than that, did we go to the bottom of it? Yeah. But you notice it closed back above the 21-day. Here, same thing here, close above it. And now look where we are here. Okay, we holding that 21-day, holding that 8-day, and now we made a nice good rally up. What we're looking for was the top of this candle right here at that 3.24. Right now you're sitting at 3.25. So you're sitting right there, and there's at 3.26. So right there is going to be your resistant level. Okay, now if we can blast through that, okay, we have a target rate going on up here. This is right there, that 100-day. Let me bigger up a little bit here, okay? Right there. We're looking for that 329 level, and then we're looking here for that 329 level because you got the 100-day and the 200-day. So that's going to be very, very strong. And then your next level is going to be that 50-day at 339. Then we have this retest there, 339, and then 343. Once we crack above that, then right here is your target is going to be that 3.73 level. Okay, so when we look here on the daily chart, what we're always looking at here is we're always looking for some gaps, and we're looking for some fills. So right here, this is what your target is. That's at 373, okay? There's your gap. And then we'll look to the bottom of that candle, okay? We're looking at 381. There's your fill. Then we can come up here at 393. Then we have another target all the way going on up here. You're looking at 399. But realistically, this is going to be your target next if you can get above that at that 4.42. Okay, that's going to be your target. And then obviously we have another target going all the way up here at 459 level. Okay, and then we can just measure all the way on up here. Now, again, it's going to need a catalyst here in order to do that. But it's been really good trading here today, especially like in the UNG is where I scalped that. It was really, really good trade. Yesterday was a really good trade. It was a nice, good scalp, but it went right into that 8-day. Now, I don't hold natural gas overnight. I can always trade it because it seemed like natural gas, first of all, it's the widowmaker, and I don't want to be be that. Okay, but it always gives you an opportunity to get in. Okay, so it came right on down, and we held the top portion of that candle and that 21-day, and then it just zoomed right back up. So once it comes down and it gets back above that candle, then you can zoom right on up here. The beauty I like about it is like the UNG or the KOLD, the long and the short. Same with the UCO, the SR. You can trade those 24 hours a day from Sunday night all the way to Friday night, and that's the beauty of it. Okay, because you can do I set trades up here going at 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. whatever I can see, whatever is going to be working, that's how I set the trades up, kind of a situation. All right. So again, right now what we're watching is just watch this key right here, that 326 level. If we can get above that, then we're going to be looking right here for that 329. Very, very key. Now on the downside here, we got to do some holding here. You got to hold this key 8 SMA. That's at 316. Okay, we have the 21-day at 314, and then we have 310. That's going to be always very, very critical. We lose that, you come right here, okay, at the 21-day, 306, and then we have 304. So we have a lot of good support all the way underneath here, okay, because you got the 8-day, 21-day, 100-day, and this 50-day. So really only your big target is going to be that 200-day. But on the weekly, you've got everything's all jammed here. But if we can get above this key 50-day, take that top one at 339, then we can rip up to 343. You crack that, we got that nice 373 looking there. Now 59, this is not overbought, oversold. We got sideways action here. This has plenty of room to run, and this has plenty of room to run. So again, just be a little bit patient here and just trade the charts. Okay, let's take a look here at gold. Okay, now gold is, I think, is coming back the same way with the old silver. Okay, and I really believe that for a simple reason is now that war situation is pretty much, I don't know, it's monetized. You know, say it's not finished. There's no way. You got 60 days here, but it gives you some kind of like a relief situation. So if you take out the bottom of that candle at that 4,100, we came all the way down 40.46, but you notice that we held that because there was a red dog, came all down and then spiked right back up again. It drew all the shorts in there, and then they had to buy it. Okay, so you had a nice, good double bottom situation on the old charts. Okay, then we have an inside day so far. Okay, so basically all that is your high and low is within the high and low of the previous days. So what we're looking on the upside, we're looking right here at that 43.91, and then we're start getting the thick of it, 44.28. Then we got 44.52. Then we're going to have this sweet 8 SMA here at 44.91. Once we get above that, okay, and it's not going to be easy, but if you do, you got the 50-day sitting right there. Then we have your 21-day. Then we have your 100-day. So you could get a nice good rally. The key is we still are in a downtrend. So we have a high, lower high, and lower high situation. You really have to, this press to get not only between the 21-day and the 200-day and this 8-day, but we got to get above this, actually this 50-day here. This is going to be key. If we can get above that, we break this channel here that we've been hitting all the time. Once we get above that, then we can go right up here to that 21-day and right up there to this nice 100 SMA here. Okay, so that's what, look, but you do have a lot of resistance. Now on the downside, a couple key levels right here, 42.81. Got to hold that. And right here, 42.87. Okay, so these two here, that 81 and this 87, these are the very, very key. If not, then we can come down to the bottom of this candle here, looking at 41.91. We'll come down there at that 40.90, and then we're looking at that 40.46 retest all the way down here. Now, we had a way down to an overbought condition. Now we're rallying up nicely. Little bars have gone up. We get that green to cross over red. We get some momentum. The key is you got to crack that 21-day and that 200-day. Once we do that, then we can aim for that 8-day. And once we get above that, then we can aim for that 50-day. But remember, this is going to be very, very strong. This is going to be over a time situation. Okay, let's take a look here now at silver. Okay, silver was really it's always been a really, really good trade, even with this consolidation, okay? So now we look at 61.59. We look at the bottom there. We had 61.21. We have a nice, good double bottom going there. Very, very nice, okay? See how it is on here? Boom. See that nice double bottom? Nice. And what we got here is we got a nice, good off that bottom. Now we're sitting only at 45. The green is trying to curl up here. We're still downtrending here because I get above the 8-day, but we got plenty of room to run there. Okay, so all right now, this is looking here very, very good. Now on the downside, we want to watch right here, 67.94 is your 200-day, and then that 8-day at 67.65. That's going to be very, very critical. Okay, we lose it, then we come right down here to that 50-day, 63.26, and then we have that big retest down here at 61.21. Okay, that's your downside action. Upside, very, very easy. Okay, 21-day. Got to get above that 72.56 level. That's going to be very, very key. Then we have 73.86, your 8-day, and then 75.58. Okay, very, very simple. And then basically 21-day, 77.07, and then 79.04. So basically one level at a time. But the SLV has been a really, really good trader. Give you an example. Just there in regular hours today. 62.76 on the bottom, 63.84 on the top. Okay, so you had over a point just in this nothing kind of a day. Okay, so really, really good trading here in the SLV. That's the key. Okay, so bottom line here, just watch that key 200-day and that 8-day. That's going to be very, very critical here on the downside. The upside, you got to crack above that key 21-day. If we do, then we can go higher. Now this is looking good, this is looking good, this is looking good, and this is looking good right here. And we have that nice good double bottom. But again, with silver here, you got to be really patient because we still are in a downtrending situation until we can crack above that 50-day at 75.58. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, here we have Bitcoin. Now again, here we had a really good trading here in the BITX today. Okay, so again, what we're looking at here is see this 8-day. Okay, so we broke that downtrend situation, and that's the key. We got to hold this key SMA at 63.11. That's going to be critical. Okay, if we lose that, then we're going to be looking right here at that 200-day at 64.450. We lose that, we're going to come right to the bottom of there at 60,005, and then to retest 59,275. Okay, that is your downside. But really, right here, 8-day and 200-day, very, very critical. Okay, very, very critical. Okay, now remember what we have is we only have a 4-day week this week. Okay, so we got this is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Remember, Friday is a stock market holiday, Juneteenth, I think they call it. Yeah, so there's a stock market holiday. So again, there will be no trading there on Friday. So, you got to pay attention to all that, okay? Now, what we're looking for, we had an inside day. We're looking on the upside. We're looking right here, 67,360. Now, next level, right there, 67,975. And then right there, 69,564. If we can crack above it, we have this 71 target right here, okay? We have the 100-day 72 target, and then we have that 74 target, okay? So right now here, we're just starting this, okay? So I just think Bitcoin's going to have its day again. I just think it's going to be later, maybe early fall, something on that order. I just think it's going to be later before we start retesting, getting above all of this here, and possibly even retesting that 127. So you got to be a little bit patient kind of a situation, okay? So bottom line, this is a nice trader's market. That's the key, okay? But what I like about it is here we had this nice positive divergence going here on the RSI, okay? We have the double bottom in place going on here. We have a positive divergence here on the weekly chart here, and this is just starting to curl up. Now, again, if we can crack above that 21-day and get this 8-day to curl up here, then as it comes down, that would provide very, very good support, just like this provided very, very good resistance. What we're looking for is this scenario, okay? Get that price back above the 8-day like we have it, crack above that 21-day, and then we can just like this all the way on up here till we get the big retest. That's what we're looking for there on the upside. If you're going to be a short trader, which, I am, we lose that 8-day, we lose this 200-day, and we lose that 59,275, well, then I'll be short right here, all the way down here to this 49,365. But, Bitcoin has been really beat up. I mean, it came down less than, more than half of what the all-time high was. So again, it's just going to have its day. So just be very, very patient and just trade this accordingly. All right, let's look at the indexes here. Okay, here we have Dow. Okay, well, she's moving and making a nice higher high. It looks like we're holding. Okay, so today we made this low of 51,712. Okay, so we're looking for this low right here at this high, 51,657 level. Okay, so that's what we are right there. Okay, so it came right on down, 52,190, 51,657. We've held that. See how nice that held it? Very, very nicely. And we're top portion of that candle, which is good. Then we made this nice higher high. But if you look at these price channels, we're getting outside that price channel. So be a little bit careful because a lot of times, okay, see when you get outside the price channel, wants to come back in kind of situation. Outside, wants to come back in. Outside, wants to come back in. So again, we can have a nice good rally here, higher, don't get me wrong. But again, eventually it's going to come right back in again, okay? So right now, if we come in, just watch that level right there, 51,657. Watch that 8-day, 21-day, 50-day, and then we had retest down here, 100-day, 200-day. That's all your downside thing. I don't know if it's going to be crashing down here. I think we had this little sell-off here, and I think we can have some sideways action. Now, today here on the S&P, well, we had an inside day. So what we're looking for is yesterday's low. That's the gap, 75.16. Then we have your 21-day sitting there, 74.57, and then your fill right there at 74.56. And then we have your nice 8-day, and then we have your 50-day. Now we're holding this here very nice. The 50-day is moving right on up here. Very, very nice. Now upside, 75.77 right here. Okay, 75.98, and there's your big retest at 76.20. Okay, very, very easy, very, very simple. Right here, okay, we popped up a little higher, couldn't really hold it, but we did make a higher high and a higher low here so far. Okay, so what we're watching is yesterday's high, looking at 26,687, today's high, 26,788, and we'll look up here, 26,923, and then your big retest 27,190. On the downside, you want to watch yesterday's low 26,438, and then we want to watch here 26,349. That's your 21-day, and then we want to watch that fill, okay, at 26,10. And then we want to watch the 8-day, and then we have the 50-day. But right now here, this doesn't look like it's, either way kind of a situation because you got strong earnings. We get that Straits of Hormuz keep on flowing. They get the T-Man gets that deal going, and then we could actually do something, okay? But again, if it's 60 days and this falls apart again, we could be right back to where we were, okay? So just always pay attention to the news, but realistically, just trade the charts, okay? This is a trader's market, until it isn't. Just that simple. All right, remember, API for crude oil will be out today at 4:30. I'll have the numbers for you tomorrow morning. And remember, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.